Myles Murphy, a defensive end out of Powder Springs, Georgia. He's 6'4", 255 pounds. He's a big defensive end with an elite explosiveness. I love the way this guy gets off the ball. He uses his hands really well to shed those blocks, which I think is really important in the defensive end. I think he's going to need to work on his pass rush moves a little bit. Obviously, when you're going against the competition, you're going against, if you're that much better than everybody else, you don't have to develop these kind of moves. You just kind of say hi and you go get the quarterback, whether you push him out of the way, whether you bulldoze him or bull rush him or whatever it may be. So obviously he's going to have to develop some moves there, but I think he has the tools and I think he's a smart guy. So I don't think it'll take him very long to make that adjustment. He's kind of a quieter kid, handled the recruiting process really well. Love the family environment. Obviously, we know Clemson tends to win those kind of recruitments when you have somebody who loves the family environment. Something Clemson does very well, sells very well. Glad Myles Murphy is a part of this class.
How do you land the number one defensive end in the country and nobody talks about it?
I know.
That's what happened this year. Unheard of to land a guy like this. And as you can see from the film, definitely somebody that quarterbacks are going to be afraid of, and they're going to be looking at every single play, and they're going to know where he's at on the field at all times. But the problem is, if you know where he's at, you may forget about where Brian Bressee's at, and you may forget about XT and all the other great defensive players that on the defensive line that Clemson's going to have. So this is another player on that list. When I'm writing him down, when I'm going through this review, I'm saying to myself, these guys are going to fight early for these spots. And I know people are telling me, oh, it's going to be the same guys. It's going to be Foster. It's going to be Thomas. It's going to be Pickney. And it's going to be Davis. Maybe one of those Pickney or Davis gets switched out for Bresee. I get it, but I don't believe it. More I look at these guys and how dominant they've been and how quiet this number one recruiting class has been, because they've been committed for – a lot of them have been committed to Clemson for more than a year.
Yeah.
So I'm saying don't get lulled by the lack of hype in this sense. These guys are really good. They're dominant at their positions in high school. And I at least from the defensive line, I can see this carrying over to high school or to college very early on in the 2020 season. And I look forward to this long, physical pass rusher just being a great fit for that defensive line and just making that, like you said, Power Rangers version 2 come to life.